What's good? What's good? What's up, family? It's me, Corbin Brown, back for another day, of rise and shine. Yeah, yeah, rise and shine, man. I'm outside over here at Paradise Creek Park in Portsmouth, Virginia. One of my favorite trails, not too big, not too small. It includes water as well as a nice trail. And it's never too crowded, you feel me? I don't like going to trails and it's real crowded, whole lot of people everywhere, everybody greeting you, saying hello. Cause I be thinking, I be in my own head, I don't got time to be talking to everybody. Some people even want to just walk with you, sometimes I just want to be alone. And coming out here gives me a time to get some clarity, peace of mind, and just connect with nature, man. Yeah, definitely just connect with nature. And that's one thing I wanted to really talk about today is not nature, but the power of connection. The power of connection. The power of connecting with others, through relationships, getting to know people, building relationships with people over time, whether it's a partner, a close associate, or relation, a lover, a friend, family, whatever it is, but the power of having good connections with real, genuine people, where you find unconditional love, where it's not based off of what you do for the person, but it's just based off of that connection that you two have, though. Something that the spirit connects that you don't even see, but this is real. You can depend on this person. You can call that person if you need them. It's something special about having a real connection and building real relationships with people that has a foundation, goes through its ups and downs, but continues to grow. Not a stagnant relationship that just we don't know why we're here in each other's lives, but it has purpose. Whether it's because we offer therapeutic services by our conversations with each other, whether it's a lover when you being able to grow and build a family with them, or whatever it is, whether it's associate at work, you building towards a company, getting that money, whatever it is, but having purpose and building forward, with intent, So I know myself. I've had a lot of people in my life that I've called friends, people who I thought was almost like family. But as I've grown, I've learned that you can't just throw that word out everywhere. Everybody's not your friend just because they want to spend time with you, just because you might enjoy spending time with them. Some people are really just here for seasons, really just here for seasons for their reasons, their own personal reasons, or even just for reasons that you might not see at the moment. Reasons for you to learn from, you know, and you have to understand when it's time to just separate yourself from certain people. But the ones who stay around, the ones who you see through different seasons, through the spring, summer, winter, fall, you know, and y'all continue to evolve with each other, those connections are so important and are vital for your life. Because living on this earth, we are spiritual beings living with this human form. And one of the biggest things we need is to be able to connect with others, you know, whether it's to talk, to learn from, just to have conversation with, to share energy, whether you're giving somebody a hug, the power of hugs, just the connection. Going back to nature, the trees, even though you look at them and they're growing individually, they have roots that grow underground that connect to a source that connects the trees in that area together. So when one tree needs more water or more sunlight, they feeling like they lacking something, they're able to send that nutrition underground to the next tree. If one tree is about to fall, they've been dying, another tree might notice that and be able to catch them before they fall. But it's the connections that are made underground, though, that real foundation, of real root form foundations. Yeah. So I just want to speak on the power of connection, the power of relationships, power of growing with people. Um, yeah, it's just very important in this lifetime. And like I said, you can't call everybody your friend, you know. But just want to speak on that. How you doing today? Yeah. So somebody's walking up, but it's cool. I keep going, keep flowing with this. Yeah. So like I said, I've had a lot of people in my life who I thought I could call friends, who I thought would be in my life forever. But I've seen how, as I've grown and I've evolved, the vibration, the level that I was on, it no longer fit in certain people's lives. And we all have our own path. Yeah, we definitely have our own individual path in life. Just because you're growing at a faster rate or at a different rate than somebody else doesn't mean that they're wrong or that you need to force them and pull them along. If it's supposed to happen, it will flow naturally. Even if you find separation between you two, the world, God will bring you back together if that person is supposed to be in your life. As long as you're not being restricted and trying to keep things separate, or if you're not trying to force things, if you're just going with the flow of it, the right people will be in your life, and you have to appreciate those people, because you can't trust everybody. You can't trust everybody. So honor the relationships that you got. Honor the people. Honor that connection. Honor your talks with people. And of course, we get out here and on our own journey, and we feel like sometimes we don't need anybody. Like we can do it all on our own. But it's not supposed to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that. We were put here to connect with others, to build things with others though. You look at the pyramids, it's no way that one person could have done all of that. It had to come from a group, a collective of people who had a similar mindset with the mission to be able to build something bigger than what they could presently see. And that's what relationships do. It helps you when you have similar mindsets with people. Not that you think of like on everything, but you all have similar mindsets, similar ways of seeing the world. And you have a vision. And with that vision, you all have separate missions on that vision, but you all mission together. When you all bring that mission together, you're able to work towards the larger vision of whatever you all are going towards. And that's why while you're growing and evolving in life, you might need certain type of people in your life. When I was hanging outside in the streets, I needed to be around people who was in the streets because they were teaching me things that was helping me survive in the streets, to thrive in the streets. Whether it was how to make a play, whether it was how to, you know, just maneuver, how to be respectful, how to not put yourself in certain situations. It was times where I needed to be around these certain groups of people. And of course, in certain environments, you're gonna learn different tools that make you more equipped for whatever that environment that you're living in, that you're finding yourself in. But as I evolved past the streets into new levels, whether now I'm moving into being an entrepreneur, okay, now I have to associate myself with more entrepreneurs, more business owners, more people who have careers and see something more for themselves. I couldn't just associate myself with the streets anymore because no, they're maybe living a life where they don't have bank accounts, where they're not thinking past the weekend. They're more focused on the present moment of just celebrating whether and not just building on something. It's very shiesty out here in the streets. And when I say the streets, I mean just, yeah, really the streets, the hood. I ain't even gonna just say the hood because everybody has their own neighborhood, where you grow up. But the street life where people are in survival mode, where it's really everybody for themselves. Somebody might steal from you. Somebody might rob you that you knew. People don't really have that unconditional love. It's really about what can you do for me? What can you do for me? If you can't do nothing for me, why are we hanging around each other? And you definitely need to see the value in why somebody is around you. But it should be bigger than monetarily. A lot of times in the streets, if you're not showing them how to get some money or how to eat, then they necessarily might try to come rob you. You might try to steal from you, take your food, what you got, you know. And like I said, as I moved away from situations where I was moving in the streets a lot, then I moved into the business world. Now I'm associating with people who have businesses, who've been doing things for years, and now understanding, okay, yes, I had to leave some people behind, but that don't mean I have to replace them with new people. I just have a new type of people in my life, though. I can't expect to get the same things from this set of people that I got from the ones who I grew up with. And I know a lot of times we lose something and we feel like we need to replace that thing. We need to find something that fills that void. And you're not necessarily gonna find something that fills that void, but you can find something new. Because if you find something that fills that void, it's gonna keep you in that same cycle, that same loop of where you was already at. That newness will help create new cycles, new experiences in your life. So you have to embrace that and not expect to find what you felt before in the newness. That was a big lesson I had to learn, looking for people that I could spend all day with, the ones that I was talking on the phone all day. When I wake up, we hanging outside, we smoking, we drinking, we going out clubbing. Now I might have friends or associates where I might only speak to them once or twice a week, maybe once or twice every couple weeks, And when we do talk, talking about very valuable, informative information that's helping us continue moving forward. Because now we have a new level of priorities. Whether it's you got a family, whether you got a business you're taking care of, where you're just so focused, you want to make sure you're retired by the time you're 30 or 40. So just understanding what that new vision is. When I was in the streets, I didn't have that vision of building a business. I just had that vision of sometimes even being the new El Chapo, being the new Big Meech. Whatever it was, it's like I just want to be the best in this environment. Now, as I continue to evolve as a business owner or whatever, now I'm okay. Now, how can I be the best entrepreneur, the best version of who I am now? So as you continue to evolve, you have to make new connections, meet new people, not be afraid to reach out and be vulnerable and open up about who you are and what you are looking to do in life, And that's not to say you have to tell everybody your business, tell everybody about everything going on, but be open with sharing, connections. A lot of things happen when you share information. That's how things grow. If you look at a computer, a lot of programs, they might ask you if they can document the information that you received during your experience and put it in a cloud, and they take that from everybody who's using this program, because now this shared information will help the program develop into an even better program. It will help it evolve and update to a newer version, and that's what connections do. It helps you evolve with shared information. Even when people go to therapy, a lot of times they're speaking back and forth, having conversation and dialogue, making them question themselves, think about themselves, see things in a different perspective. Them shared experiences from them connections where you feel like you can be vulnerable. It helps you evolve past. People go to therapy because they might have some trauma or something they're trying to work through, something they're trying to grow through. And now they're having this dialogue with somebody. They made a connection with somebody that they feel they can trust to some extent and be vulnerable, be open and open up to. And like I said, that's just the importance of having connections in your life. I really value the people who I can look back on and think like, hey, you were around in one phase of my life, and I look into the next phase and you're still around. And and you might not be in my life the same way. I have family who was around when I was in the streets, who now is still around with me doing business, but they don't play that same role. They get new roles. It's like a TV show. You have core characters of the cast, core characters of the show. And in different seasons, one season they might be the main character. The next season, they're playing a role that you only see every couple episodes, So it's just understanding how this person can evolve with the new seasons of your life. So I really value the people who are able to still be in my life through the different seasons, the different chapters of evolving me, Because yeah, it's important, man. I love them. I give them love. I show them love, and you have to show your reciprocation, show your love to these people that you have in your life, because you don't want to just lose. It's not easy to gain new connections that are very valuable, that are important to your growth, that can help you grow in life. You can meet people every day, but that don't mean you all are going to connect on a level that is past the surface, that can build roots, build a foundation, and then move forward like the pyramid is going up, with that common goal. So yeah, I love the people that love me back. I love the people that love me back and show me that they love me back and are willing to grow with me. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I'm at a point now, I'll leave you. You can't be scared to leave people behind. Like, all right, I see you. I don't think nothing wrong with you, but I gotta keep growing. You feel me? I gotta keep moving forward. Looking at me now and the way I see life through the holistic practices I preach and that I teach to people, some things are not always seen, in the same perspective that I have for it, and I understand that. But the people who respect my perspective and respect my new view of life and the way I now move, the way I might now eat, the things I want to indulge in, the places I want to be, and accept that and still say, hey, I still see you for who you are, not for what you do for me, or not for what you know, yeah, not for what you do for me. I see you and I appreciate you. I want you still in my life. I love them. I love them, man. I don't even really say I have friends too much really anymore. I got family. You feel me? I got family. I got brothers. I got sisters. You know, I got women I love in my life. I got men who I love in my life. Feel me? From old to young. I really value the connections. You know, definitely. There's a lot of good people out here in the world, but a lot of bad people too, man. A lot of people with bad intentions who not here to help you grow, but to help you go backwards. You gotta have discernment to be able to notice, okay, why is this person in my life? What role do you play in this season? How do we add to each other? Because you don't want to be somebody that just taking, because they add to you. You want to be able to give that back. Give whatever, it doesn't have to be the same thing. Maybe you offer that person insight on new information they're looking for. Maybe they just offer you a listening ear. They don't just talk back every time you're saying something. They really just are there for you to be able to express yourself. You know, whatever it is, but it needs to be somewhat equal. And we don't measure this by the monetarily, you know, how much money you giving me, how much money I'm helping you make. Like, I mean, unless it is a business, you know, that's a big thing. You want to make sure somebody understands that. But even sometimes with that, it doesn't have to be about the money. It's just the connection and how we are helping each other get to where we are trying to get. We all got our own path, man. We all have our own path. Nobody's meant to follow the other person's path. You can't start walking on another person's path, but then at one point you might understand you need to move a separate way, move a different way, you know. But at the same time, we might be on the walkie talkies. Hey, be on the lookout. It's a bear up on the left. I already went that way or whatever. Just but staying in contact, keeping those connections strong, reaching out when you get that intuition, that feeling inside where I haven't talked to so and so in a while. Let me just call them and check up on them, make sure they're good. Oh, it's their birthday. Let me send them something, you know, because I know that's what they appreciate. You might not care about gifts too much. It might not be a big thing to you, but if you know that's something that a person in your life appreciates and they see value in, you know, think about them. Think about how you would feel if you were them, you know. Because I appreciate when people show up for my events or show up and purchase my books, you know, or show that they care about the things that I care about, even if it's not something that they have a big love for, but to show me that you care about something I care about is very meaningful to me. Yeah. So be 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 mindful of the connections that you make in this life. Respect and show love and honor those who do the same to you. Everybody can't go, but if they're willing to grow, keep moving forward with them. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say today, man. Like I said, I'm just honoring the connections in my life. There was somebody that I spoke to this week who I looked up, and I've been friends with them for now 3 years to this day. 3 years, and we've had a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we're helping each other grow, and that is so valuable to me because yes, we might have disagreements, not agree or not see things the same way, but we both are helping each other grow because we know that it's mutual love there. So call your friend today, call your family, call them close associates that you got. Tell them you love them, tell them you appreciate them. Spread love, and be willing to receive that love as well. Though, don't close yourself off. Don't close yourself up and just think, oh, it's just gonna be me on this journey. Nah, man. If it's people trying to reach out to you and you know they have a genuine love for you or they genuinely care for you, receive that. Have an open hand. Receive that because it's going to help you in your journey. You're not meant to be alone. You're not meant to do this all by yourself. There's some times where you have to take time alone, be still and be quiet by yourself. But those might be also the same seasons where you don't have too many people reaching out, too many people calling and checking up on you. And you have to stay strong on your own. But yeah, man. Value the good people in your life. Value the people that's headed towards the light. Keep growing, keep going, and believe what you feel, or believe what you be knowing. You feel me? I love y'all, man. Rise and shine. Peace.